I'm here to talk about non-fatal issues and how to effectively manage them. This is only a lightning talk, so we have only 20 minutes, so let me jump straight into the topic. But starting for you to calibrate the scale about the scale of the project that we are working at. So Qonto, we are a banking app. So what does it mean? Is that availability is crucial for us. We want to know if users have access to their money, to their financial services. Because this is not a problem only from a perspective of user happiness, but this is also a problem from the compliance level. So we want to make sure that everything is working as we design it, and there is no hidden issues. And we have more than 500,000 of active users. Those are entrepreneurs, so we want them to have access to their money and financial services 24/7. We shouldn't have problems. That's very important for us. And our team, only Android developers, is around 60 Android developers. So we are not on a scale of a mega corporation, but we are also not a startup already. But what does it mean for the project? And for the starter, every one of us probably here are or were Android developers. And all of us within our project, we are sending some information to our monitoring tool. And who of you is using Firebase Crashlytics? I assume almost everyone. And who of you is using something else? Yes, and about this a little bit later. But as everyone here, probably we are sending crashes to Firebase. This is what probably all of the Android developers, all of the projects are doing. But besides this, we're also sending information that is called non-fatals, which is something when the app is not crashing, but it's not working properly. Because there is certain misconception often within mobile developers that if you have a 99.9% of crash-free sessions, the app is working fine, everything is good, and we are focusing so much on that number, but we might miss that certain features are not available. Something is failing, but we just don't know about it because we are so much focusing only about crashes. Other platforms, web, backend, they are monitoring much more things, so why we should only focus on crashes? There's so many things that can fail in the app. Let's say you are using external SDK for multi-factor authentication, and their service might fail. The SDK might have an issue with expired tokens, whatever is happening. You should know that user cannot accept multi-factor authentication. You should know about it. Let's say your app is implementing deep links to go straight to the certain screen in your app, and that deep link is sent through email. But someone who was creating an email forgot about the parameters. So the deep link is not working properly. So you are not promoting certain feature. And you should, again, know that something went wrong and should be able to react to it. Again, let's say you have a web view. You are loading some web page which is providing a context for the user, and someone moved the URL, changed the content, and something is going wrong. This is not part of our app. App is not crashing. Again, you should be aware of the issue. And there's so many issues that are not certainly a crash, but you should know that something is happening, and the team should be able to fix it as soon as possible. And as I said, we have 60 Android developers. We have right now 550, I believe, modules. So team is constantly growing. And everyone was adding more and more non-fatals that are sent to Crashlytics. At some point, 600,000 non-fatal events. But we knew that, OK, we don't have a standard. Who should react to those issues? When? And what are the problems hidden inside it? And when we should look at it? Because the number is not a problem itself. It can be 100,000, can be 1, 2 million. But what information we can get from that non-fatal events sent to any monitoring tool? And we sat down with other Android developers and we thought, OK, what we can do to get more information from those non-fatal events and how to be aware that something is going wrong in the app. And the first thing that developers should know is who is the owner of this problem. Because with so many developers, so many features, not everyone can react to any part to fix any part of the app and any part of the feature. You should have a specific people who have context about the domain and react to it. And that's the information that you need. The other thing is what's the priority of the issue, because as I said, there are cases when user cannot log into the app, so this is a critical issue. And there are other things when you're just missing some context, providing the context for the user. And this is just a warning, people just don't have a little bit more information. And when you should react to those issues, because there are issues where the team needs to stop and fix right away after first it ever happened. And there are other cases when we usually have some issues, but you should react to it when you have twice or more of those comparing to yesterday. So we knew that we need to answer those three questions. But let me focus first on those first two. This is what you see in the Crashlytics if you send a non-fatal event. You have some title, you have some subtitle, a version, and how many occurrences it happened. But if you have those million of those events, you have 60 developers. If someone opens a Firebase, you have a list of those. You don't know what is the problem, when you should when and who should react to it. What is something that you would probably expect is to have the information right away, with the priority and the owner visible right away on the list. So how to achieve that with Firebase? The first and the easiest thing is to enforce a contract on your developers. You can create, for example, exception that is sent also to Firebase, where you enforce the owner and the priority, so the context that we need can be more with the message. And if you have that, then you can make sure that people actually start using it. You can, the easiest way is just to deprecate the old way how you've been reporting non-fatal issues, but you can also create a custom lint rule and enforce it on the team. That's how we actually done it at Qonto. There was an hour ago a presentation by my friend at Qonto, Florian, about how we enforce and migrate stuff through custom lint rules. You can watch it. It's a very interesting talk. But yes, we have this information inside the code, but right now we have it only here. What we can do to make it visible, and the first thing you can think of is adding custom keys and values to Crashlytics. Right now you have extension function on Firebase. It's like a map. You can provide a key and value to each exception that you send to Firebase. But it actually doesn't help. It doesn't achieve what we actually want, because the context is still not there on the list right away for each developer. You need to go inside of this exception, go to the specific tab of keys, and look for the information you need. That still enables you to filter all of the non-fatal events thanks to those keys and values, but still the context is kind of hidden from you. There is another way, which is a bit more hacky to achieve what we want, because I didn't tell you at the beginning, but this title and subtitle that you see there is a stack trace. This is the first element of the stack trace in an exception that you send to the Firebase. So what you could do, you can create like an extension function when you change the stack trace inside your exception. Because a stack trace is a variable, so you can update it. So the class name. And thanks to it, kind of hacky, you have the information right away on the list with the priority and the team. The not so fun fact is that on iOS SDK, this is available by design, then you can change the title and subtitle. Unfortunately, not for Android developers. I don't know, maybe if they see the presentation, they can implement something like this, so it will be easier. We don't have to do it by ourselves. So we have the context about the issue. Let's go to the next step, and when we should react to those issues if we already have more information about them. And this is about alarming. What are the possibilities for alarming with Crashlytics? And your first thought is, maybe I can set up velocity alerts. Velocity alerts are the alerts that you get on Slack or on the email when the number of crashes are spiking. But it's only available for crashes. You cannot set it up for the non-fatal events, which is a pity, but we cannot do anything with it. The feature is not there. What you can do with Crashlytics? Is there any option for alarming if you are already using Crashlytics? And you can only get an alert with the first ever occurrence of the issue, which is not helpful at all because you have different issues. You should react in the different moment. And this is a one configuration for the whole project, so you cannot adjust it to the problem that you have. So looking at this, we already know Crashlytics is not solving our problem. We know that we need to look for something more than Crashlytics. But what we would expect from that tool? And the first thing that is important is having rules per issue. Because as I said earlier, we have certain issues that if it first ever case happened, you know that you should react to it. The team should go and start fixing. And there are other cases when the number of issues is growing through days, and this is numbers of thousands, 10,000s, and it's growing, then you should react to it and just alert to this case. And the another thing is ownership. So if you have a larger team, as for example, us 60 Android developers, not everyone is aware of each part of the app. So to enable people, whenever they are implementing a feature, they should be able to define their own rules on their own exceptions, and being able to send those alerts only to their own team, domain, or people who are interested in it, to not give a noise to other people. And that's what we need from the tool. And when we look for the possibilities, we saw that our web and backend team is already using Sentry, so we're not looking far away. And we started the Sentry have SDK, which was very easy to use on Android, and it actually suit our need. So what we could do in Sentry is to set conditions on issues. In this screenshot, if there is more than 10 cases in 1 hour, and if the team is financing, the alert will be triggered. And you can define the number of rules and alerts based on what is the environment, production, staging, domain, or different exception. This is giving people an ownership of what they are defining alerts on. You don't have to define it straight on the whole Android team. But this is not an advertisement for Sentry, even though I like this tool so much, and I believe there are also Sentry people right here on the conference. Go talk to them. It's an amazing tool. But if there's not a possibility for you, check out other tools like Bugsnag. Maybe it's available for your company. But you can consider building something with your backend. We also do it for monitoring login. We have a ClickHouse with Grafana, where we send events to backend to monitor if everything is fine with login. Whatever is possible, just think what is available in your company and within your team. So I'm going to show you a simple use case how it helped our team to detect that we have issues. So more than a year ago, we've been changing how we are displaying FAQ articles in our app. So if the user goes through certain flow using certain feature, we are often suggesting FAQ articles to give them a bit more context on answer their questions. But we have already more than 100 articles referenced inside the app. And what those articles are just a web view where we are loading the page from our help center. But the problem is that as this is a web view and the content is not managed by us, it's by a different department, we noticed that certain articles are at some point missing. And we didn't know about it. This is not our code. This is not a crash. But we know that the problem was that the article, the page was not providing the context for the user. What we would like to have is an alert telling us, OK, some part of the app is not doing what you would like it to do. So what we have to do right now, if we have this setup that I told you before. So the developer is implementing the feature, FAQ viewing. The first thing, they will implement an exception, providing context inside the message, defining who is the owner. This is a customer engagement, so this is actually my team at Qonto. And the priority, let's say warning, because this is not critical issue. User just cannot get a specific context, but they still can proceed and use all of the features. The next thing is the team will need to define a Slack channel where the alerts will go. And this, in this context, it's for Android, for production, for domain of the help center. So all of the alerts would go there. And only people who are interested in those kind of alerts will go to that Slack channel and be able to should be able to read it, because why give noise to all of the other Android developers and all of the developers in general? Only people who want to be aware will be in that Slack channel and read and react to it. And the last thing with Sentry, we would define conditions when this alert should be triggered. In this case, if the FAQ article is missing, we know that this is first ever case the article is missing. There was no doubt. And if there is more than 0 cases in 1 hour, it will trigger another. This is very simple case. And yeah, the message contains the name of the exception that we just created. So how it works. Right now, if the user opens an article is missing, so the web view throws 404, so we know that article is missing. What we do with it is sending a non-fatal event to Sentry, and Sentry checks the triggers and sends us an alert to Slack with the proper context. So like we have the URL, we know what is the entry point to the app, and what are the next steps? It's up to the team, of course. We can do an easy thing, reach out to different department. Okay, the article is missing. We have to do something with it, maybe update the URL or whatever it's needed. Or if there's a larger scale, we know, okay, how we implemented FAQ viewing is not correct. There's too many articles constantly missing. We need to think how to reinvent our solution. So the next steps are, of course, whatever is needed. So what it gives us is a shorter chain of communication. Without alerts, if there is an issue in the app, which is not a crash, you would need to have a proactive user that is reaching out to the customer service processing their information, and then giving it to the developers who can then react to it. And this is actually only happening if the user is very proactive, maybe 1 in 10,000, and saw that the page is missing, decided to write to the customer service and tell us, okay, you should fix it. With the alerts, the information goes straight to you, and you decide what to do with it, but at least you are aware of the issue that you have inside the app. And how to summarize it is that for us, it is important to get the right information in the right time. This is not about how many hundreds of thousands of events you will send to any monitoring tool that you have. It's about what information you will get from it. So who and when should react to that information. And as I mentioned, both Crashlytics and Sentry, we are still using both tools. We are sending events to both tools and using how developer actually needs it. And I think that's about it. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed my talk. And if you want to ask me any questions around, I'll be in the conference. I would like to talk with you about monitoring and alerting on Android. I'm very interested in the topic. And here you have a QR code if you are interested in positions at Qonto. We have open position, I believe, on iOS developers, but probably opening for Android later. And yeah, thank you very much.